Yo, welcome to another episode of EmpireJeffTV. I am your host, Empire Jeff, coming to you on a Friday night live from Los Angeles, California. Hope everyone's doing well. Some more MLB offseason talk, some rumors to talk about, some BS stories trying to save face we're going to talk about. Must have been a pretty slow day. Had a couple slow days, media-wise, NBA, MLB, so we're getting some nonsense on both fronts, really. So we're going to touch on these, but I'm going to have some fun with this one because this is one of those situations where I can really challenge the information, and one of those situations where I'm just not buying it. And to be clear, I'm not going to get up here as just some random guy on YouTube, a sports fan who watches the sport from the couch, not a guy that plays in the game, don't hold any, obviously, organizational position. I'm not a credentialed member of the media. I'm none of those, which instantly disqualifies me from being above anyone that does any of those things, credibility wise. So before I even go down the path of it, I am well aware of that. I understand that, and I agree with that. It's one of those do with this information as you will situations. It's up to you to believe who, what, and where you want to believe. I also don't want to be in the business of accusing anyone of being a liar. You guys have known me for as long as I've been doing this, saying that we are all only as good as our information. So even if I say something is misinformation, I just feel like you have bad information. I don't think anyone is lying. I just don't buy it. That's just my opinion, my perspective, the feedback I've gotten off the feelers off of this. And for those who have watched the show long enough, my track record on things of being in the know on some things, or at least being able to have conversations with people after the fact, kind of stands on its own. However, this doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all, for a lot of reasons here. Because to me, there's a lot of things going on in Major League Baseball right now, And a lot of it are these owners want their fans to think one thing as they do another. While the Los Angeles Dodgers do have some of that in their arsenal, that's just, they kind of keep things, they play things coy a little bit. They keep things, close to the vest. They don't really lie. They just don't speak on open negotiations very often. They don't speak on an open investigation, right? So you always have to wonder after the fact, when news like this comes out, who does it benefit and why? Same thing with articles, same thing with rumors, same thing with hit pieces, same thing with teardowns. All of these things, you have to ask yourself, who does this benefit and why? Now, let's take a few steps back here, okay? You have the Toronto Blue Jays, very, very wealthy organization. Rogers Communication, filthy, stinking rich. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They could buy all of Major League Baseball if they chose to. The key word here is chose to. But if you go back and you look at the track record of the Toronto Blue Jays, who, again, I give a ton of credit to for last season. I give a ton of credit for almost winning a World Series, for taking the Dodgers to the brink. I give a ton of credit for this. Not denying that. But if you look at kind of how they do business, it's kind of how they got here. Okay, it's kind of how they got here. They went into last season with the assumption that if they did not reach an agreement with Vladdy Guerrero on an extension, that he would not extend during the season. That's essentially what he told them. They didn't come to a deal. They were far apart on a deal. They could not reach a deal. They just couldn't get it done, okay? It was assumed at that point that it was seeing like Vladdy was going to test free agency and very, very, very well could have been on the cusp of becoming a New York Met. This was kind of known around Major League circles as the primary destination he probably would have ended up with Soto in the event of him becoming a free agent. So Toronto came back to the table, increased their offer. Vladdy, changed his approach of no talk during the season. They reached a contract extension, and he was done. It was done. It was over. So it's basically one of those situations where Toronto has a track record of doing this. They didn't extend Bo Bichette. They didn't trade Bo Bichette, and they lost him for nothing. So you have the situation. They played hardball with Vladdy, didn't want to sign him until they pretty much had to. Didn't extend Bo Bichette, lost him for nothing while trying to chase Kyle Tucker, who they believed they had a chance at. And the report today was coming out from Whit Merrifield that a former Blue Jay player, a former MLB player, that's saying that Kyle Tucker wanted to be a Blue Jay. That was his preferred destination, but he couldn't turn down the offer from the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays couldn't make the math work on the annual salary. So there's that. Now, if you're sitting here watching this situation play out, and I had been saying for 4 weeks, I actually had it the other way. I kept saying he really, really wants to be a Los Angeles Dodger. I pretty much have that. I pretty much confirmed that on multiple fronts. Wanted to be a Los Angeles Dodger, was waiting it out, and he was waiting on the Dodgers offer to get right. You guys know I did multiple videos on this, multiple videos saying exactly how he was very much waiting on the Dodgers offer to be something that he could take because this is where he wanted to be. There was a reason why so many MLB experts prior to the offseason had him as a shoo-in for the Dodgers. All season last year, people were like, he's just going to end up on the Dodgers. Everyone kept saying that because they knew that's where he wanted to be. Former teammates knew that's where he wanted to be. It's where they wanted to be, and it's where he ended up. Now, again, if he wanted to be a Toronto Blue Jay, why did he turn down a 10-year, $350 million deal? If he wanted to be a Blue Jay. If he wanted to be it. He took $110 million less in security from the team that he didn't prefer. So you're telling me that the team that he preferred in Toronto, Canada, offered more years and $110 million of security. I know there's taxes in Canada, there's taxes in California, and he turned it down to go to his second choice for AAV, for a guy that everyone says doesn't really care about that. Like that wasn't his biggest concern in free agency? Wasn't his biggest thing he was aiming at? You mean that Toronto couldn't come out with some deferrals? Toronto couldn't hit multiple opt-outs in that contract? Toronto couldn't come out and be like, look, we're going to give you 10 years, $350 million. We're going to give you opt-outs every 3 years, and we're going to give you bonuses and clauses in your contract by not taking the opt-outs to even increase it. Toronto could have went all the way with this if they really wanted him and if he really wanted to be there. They didn't do it because they never got a commitment from him. He toured the Toronto facility in Tampa very early in the free agent process. But what a lot of people didn't know at that time is that he already visited the Dodgers. He met with the Dodgers multiple times. Multiple times. He wasn't waiting on the Blue Jays. He was waiting on the Dodgers. This is where he wanted to be all along. He was waiting on a contract structure that he was cool with, to get paid, to have options, to get back in the market, and get a high number in case something goes wrong. So $240 million. He's got deferrals. He's got opt-outs. He's got signing bonuses. Really, really high AAV. But he left $110 million on the table, guaranteed, of security, protecting him against whatever. And turned it down. Turned it down. Now, does that sound like someone who wanted to be there all along? Does that sound like someone who was preferring Toronto all along? Does that sound like someone who wanted to go to Toronto, Canada? Does that sound like someone who didn't have the Dodgers at the top of his list? Does this sound like someone who didn't want to play with Shohei Ohtani? Does this sound like someone who didn't want to be part of a three-peat? Does this sound like someone who didn't want to win a championship in Los Angeles? Does this sound like it? Because it doesn't sound like it to me. It doesn't sound like it to me. Kyle Tucker wanted to be a Dodger. He always wanted to be a Dodger. He's wanted to be a Dodger for years, and now he's a Dodger. It's that simple. It's that simple. So at the end of the day, I'm not calling anyone a liar. I'm not doing anything other than saying I feel like this is misinformation. Someone has been misled. I don't know the man personally. He was in the game. I'm not. But I'm comfortable and confident in far more credited people who tell a different tale being accurate and correct. And he went on a show that I don't know the show. It just popped up on my Twitter feed today, which is why I really stay off timelines. I made the mix up of stepping outside my preferred lists of what I like to watch on Twitter X. And it burned me again. I saw it and I was like, okay, wait a minute. And I commented on, I think the show was called it's a weird name, Sixth Inning Stretch. Kind of had a little bit of an exchange on Twitter because I called it misinformation. He challenged it. He shared a screenshot that proved nothing, of a text message that proved nothing. Accused me of calling them a liar and I'm challenging it. Yeah, I feel it's misinformation. I feel it's misinformation, absolutely. I believe someone was misformed. I believe someone played a game of telephone and something got crossed. I do believe that, but nor did I ever call someone a liar. To me, misinformation doesn't mean lying. I have no problem calling someone a liar if I feel they are lying. Didn't call anyone a liar. I just feel this is misinformation. That's just my stance. Don't know these men. But anyone who has some common sense and anyone who's been following along this process knows the math wasn't mathing on that. It just wasn't. It wasn't. Hey, they took a shot. And this is why trying to be in the news breaking business or trying to be an insider, trying to be any of that. This is where it goes wrong. We leave that for those who do it. You leave that for those who are trusted. You leave that for those who do it. You leave that for those who know what they're talking about. You leave that for those who are credited and credible. And from the second I saw this, I knew it was misinformation. Just knew it. Didn't have to get on my phone, but I did. Didn't have to reach out to people, but I did. Didn't even have to wait for the response, but I did. Got some laughing emojis, some LOLs, some WTFs, some OMGs. I think the best one I got was that you know better. You know better. And you're right, which is why I pushed back on it right away, which is why I said it was misinformation right away. And I understand that people in Canada are upset. And this isn't a diss. I'm just saying, like, for those, like, don't let these people misinform you. Don't let these people, like, sit up here and say, oh, you could have had it. This was, what does it matter at this point? This is purely trying to spin this. This is clearly trying to help Toronto save face because, again, they did not extend Vlade off top. That got dragged out. That wasn't very pretty. They did not extend Bo Bichette. They lost him for nothing. They lost out on Kyle Tucker. They lost out on Shohei Ohtani. They lost out on Roki Sasaki. To me, what this sounds like to me is someone who just got dumped, but telling everyone else that they broke up with that person first. What this sounds like to me is someone who got fired, but tried to tell everyone that they quit. What this sounds like to me is someone that is guilty telling someone they are innocent. That's what this is. That's what this is. Because that I was saying, you know, if you believe this, I got a bridge I can sell you in Brooklyn. But you got to be pretty goofy to believe this. You got to be pretty goofy to believe this. So let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a simple question. Let me ask you guys a question. If you think that this is true, then say it's true in the chat. Type in "it's true." If you think this is BS, type in Canada. Canada in the chat. Yeah, I'll help you. I'll put it in there for you. If you think it's BS, put Canada in the chat. Because not only can they not sign the players that the Dodgers are after, but they can't even get a report right. Can't even get a report right. Because this is misinformation. It's misinformation. And there is no one who believes this, that covered this. If Toronto wanted Tucker that bad to the point where they were willing to offer 10 years, $350 million, they were willing to offer $35 million a year for 10 years, they were willing to go up to $350. They were willing to do that. I'm not even sure I believe that at this point. Because if they offered that, he turned it down. And that contradicts the report, because how is the guy that you said wanted to go there, had you as their top priority, he was projected to get between $300 and $400 million. 350 is right dead smack in the middle of that 300 to 400 range. It's right there. 10 years, 350. Jeff Passan said that Toronto was the only team willing to potentially go to 10 years. So maybe that's where they pulled that report from. Oh, they offered 10. Maybe they didn't offer 10. Maybe they piggybacked off that Passan report and said, oh, they offered 10 and 35. Maybe the number was 35 and maybe the years weren't 10. Maybe they weren't. So this is all just another hot mess here of trying to just paint the Dodgers as just trying to outspend them, just trying to outspend people, when that really wasn't the case. Because we already know that the Mets offered $50 million. And the reports were that multiple teams had $50 million offers. Now, I would assume here, and this is an assumption, I want to put that out there first. I assume that those three teams were the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, and Mets in different varieties, in different flavors. But again, if you believe that the Toronto Blue Jays offered 10 years, $350 million, and if you believe there was another variation where they offered $50 million a year, and Kyle Tucker chose the Dodgers simply because it was $60 million a year, then he did not have Toronto as his top choice. It was LA. It had been LA. It was going to be LA because he wanted to be in LA. It's where he wanted to go. It's where he wanted to go. Just plain and simple. And there's no problem with admitting that. There's no problem with admitting it. And maybe he did. Maybe he absolutely did consider Toronto. I think he absolutely did. I would never say he didn't. But I don't think for a second that he was putting them as the preferred destination. He absolutely considered them, and he should have. He absolutely probably thought about going there. He should have. You got to be open-minded in these free agency talks. But I don't believe for a second that Toronto was his priority. I don't believe for a second that he wanted to go to Canada over Los Angeles. And I don't believe for a second that it ever got close to happening. You heard all these rumors, the Blue Jays willing to go 10 years. You heard all these rumors, Mets 4 years, $200 million. We did not know the Dodgers offer. We didn't know it. You know why? Is because the two teams that were out of it, and Joe's probably in here. I think I saw his logo in here. What's up, Joe? I said this on Joe's show the night it happened. I said it live. I said that was that Mets offer leaking was them saving face, was them tapping out, signaling to their fan base that they tried. They did everything they could. They lost because on the heels of losing Diaz, they lost Tucker to the Dodgers. They lost their two top priorities in free agency to the Dodgers. They had to try to get ahead of that, and that's where that leak came from. And now Toronto's taking a page out of that book, trying to appease the fan base. We did everything we can. We tried. We tried is what they're trying to sell. The tryhards. The power of friendship and misinformation. We tried. And you could tell that it blew up in the Mets' face because Cohen got mad. Cohen got pissed. He was real. How dare you try to outspend me? I'm Steve Cohen. Bam, Bogus. Bam, Luis Robert Jr. Bam, Peralta, which we'll touch on in a second because that's a whole different, interesting topic. Like you don't find it in the least bit coincidental that as soon as the Dodgers took Diaz and Tucker from the Mets, that the Mets just rallied in full panic mode and just went after every other one that the Dodgers were linked to as being a top candidate for the Dodgers. Luis Robert was linked to the Dodgers for years. Bam, give me him. Peralta was linked to the Dodgers. Bam, give me him. Bo Bichette, the Dodgers did have them high on their board. It was Tucker or Bichette, but they prioritized Tucker, and they should have. Bam, give me Bo Bichette. Steve Cohen was walking around like I got Juan Soto. He chose me over the mighty Dodgers and the mighty Yankees. I got Juan Soto. Juan Soto chose me, Stephen Cohen, over the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. That's what he was walking around all last year thinking. The Dodgers didn't even seriously entertain it. They were just there for the party because they got a seat at every table. The Yankees were kind of just being used as a tool just to get the Mets offer up as high as it could get. But like I said, you think it's coincidental that as soon as he lost out on Diaz and Tucker, that he just went and snagged up everything else that was linked to the Dodgers just to make it seem like he got them before the Dodgers could, when the Dodgers had backed out on all of them at that point? It's true. It's true. Hold on a second here. I had to clear something out of here. But that just is what it is, yo. That is what it is. That report, I call it misinformation. I'm going to say it again. I am not accusing anyone of lying. It's not what I'm doing. It's not what I do here. It's not what I want to do. I'm a nobody. This is just me up here talking sports. But I think anyone with common sense knows that 2 + 2, what it equals. This is simple mathematics. And with that story, the math isn't mathing. It just isn't. It just isn't. It's the off season. Or it wouldn't be a topic. It's the off season. And I am the guy that likes to be the slayer of false narratives. And this is a false narrative. So it had to be slayed. Had to be slayed. And I'm not the only one slaying this. I'm not the only one slaying this. I'm not. But always consider who this benefits, and always consider the source. Always. And just not buying it. Just not buying it. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, I'm Empire Jeff. This is EmpireJeffTV. We are talking about the rumor that dropped today that supposedly Kyle Tucker had preferred and had the Toronto Blue Jays as his top destination. That's where he wanted to go. A deal couldn't be reached. And so he chose the Dodgers as a backup plan. That's kind of what they want you to believe today. But that's not the case, y'all. Absolutely is not the case. And the Dodgers, once again, do what they do, and that is get the best player in free agency when they really want the person. They didn't get the best player in free agency last year because they didn't really want him that badly. They didn't really want nor need Juan Soto that badly. But they got the guy they wanted, which was Blake Snell. They got the guy they wanted, which was Roki Sasaki. They got the guy they wanted, even though it didn't work out as expected, which was Tanner Scott. The year before, they got the guys they wanted: Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Teoscar Hernandez, and on. So when the Dodgers really want someone, they're going to get him. They're going to get him. And you'll get these reports that came out. You'll get all these different things. And they kind of did the same thing when the jet to Toronto blew up in their face. They wanted everyone to know that they made the same offer. They wanted everyone to know, like, all these details leaked. All of these details. It's all these details that just leak from Toronto. All these details just leak from. Is Magic Johnson in that front office? Because you guys got more leaks than a Magic Johnson ran front office. Shout out to Magic. Shout out to Magic, my guy. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let me get to some of your chats here. That's BS. What's going on, Roy? That's BS. Toronto trying to save face. So one of their Pass comes out and puts out this BS. Tucker was not going to pass up California weather for Toronto, turf for real grass, back-to-back World Series champions. Absolutely. There we go. I knew I saw Mr. Joseph in the building. Appreciate you, Joe. What's going on, man? Compared Toronto organization to Dodgers are not even close. Tortas over Poutine. Kendrick over Drake. City of LA over an entire country. Empire Jeff over TSN. Bam! I like that. I like that. What's going on, Jeremy? Appreciate you. Joe says Toronto hype is over. Blue Jays are irrelevant. I don't know if I'd call them irrelevant, but I do kind of feel like they're not as good as they were last year now. Let's see. Okay, people talking to each other. Toronto offered him $10 million for $350 and he turned it down. I don't know too many people, if any, who turned down $110 million when they want to be somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. What's going on, Gregory Brown? What's going on? Make sure you guys tap that link, that Fanatics link, to get your MLB, NBA, NFL gear, and more. Make sure to use that link to get special discounts. We have partnered with the good people at Fanatics. And so when you order through them via us, they hook us up because we sent you their way. And they've got the World Baseball Classic hats on the site already. I got mine. I got a couple of them. Got the hoodie. I'm all ready for this World Baseball Classic. I got my gear for it. You can get it yourself by tapping this link. Also, make sure to check out legendsofculture.com. Legends of Culture and Drip Show have partnered up with the Ruining Baseball collection and the We Love LA collection, highlighting your love for Los Angeles sports, as well as the Ruined Baseball collection. That is legendsofculture.com. Make sure to go check that out. Some fire grill. Damn, I need a fire grill. Fire gear brought to you by Drip Show and Legends of Culture. Where did I leave off here? I see the Cantadas in the chat. Gregory says, I believe Milwaukee was using Dodgers, jacked up the price on Peralta. So that's actually not what happened, Gregory. So what actually happened was there was someone trying to jack up the price on someone, but it was misdirection, and they got fooled. The team that was trying to jack up the price was the Padres, and they were trying to jack up the price on the Dodgers, but the Dodgers really weren't all the way in on it. They weren't going to go to a certain, like, if he fell on their lap, if people passed on him, they were going to be there to take him if it suited what they were willing to give up. The haul that the Mets gave was just way too much, in my opinion. And I think the Brewers won this trade from an aspect of for the future. And but you got Jet Williams and Sproat there. That Sproat's got nasty stuff. Williams can play short. The outfield can probably play this year. They'll both play this year. Those two guys just scream Milwaukee Brewers. And Peralta just sounds like a guy that will go to New York. And depending on the type of season he has, probably comes out of there with a Dylan Cease overpay type deal. And the Dodgers probably weren't interested in that. They did their due diligence. They checked in on it. Peralta's a good pitcher. I would have taken him in a second. But what the Mets ended up offering, the Dodgers had no interest in going to that route. And the Padres were involved trying to jack up the price because they believed the Dodgers were going to be the destination for Peralta. And again, they were in on it. But the Dodgers had other reasoning for trying to kick the tires on a Peralta trade. And I spoke on that in another video. Or they knew the Mets would send their two best prospects for a guy who the Dodgers smack around. Yeah, that's exactly right there. Fofo, what's going on, Fofo? Didn't we smack the ish out of Peralta during our series against the Brewers? Yeah, and he's got his control and his ability to kind of his inability to throw strikes when they matter could be a problem. Joe says common sense even things out. Jeff, yeah, results is the evidence that seals the deal on observations. Yeah, man, I got the hiccups going on here. What's going on? One second, guys. Let's see. What's going on, Jordan? What's going on? Tails smacked Peralta. Even Pages hit a double off him. I don't know what you mean. Chuck Jones, what's going on, man? Freeman was literally crying over the Braves when he came over, and now he doesn't want to leave. Well, he was emotional. He spent all of his time there. His family was there. It was something that, that was it was tough. You know, it was tough for him to walk away from the only organization that he knew. He said, host, keep insulting other players who don't play for the Dodgers, especially Hall of Famers or other teams. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What's going on, Drip Show? Appreciate you, bro. How you doing, brother? Jacoby Mason, what's going on, guys? What's going on? What's that? Kodo said maybe a decade is too long. I'm not a baseball guy. I'm just passing through. What's going on? Well, I mean, I hear you, but again, they could put opt-outs in there. They could put deferrals in there. They could put incentives in there to trigger it higher if he doesn't opt out. They could have done all kinds of different things there for sure. David said he really wanted to be in Toronto. Then he signs with the Dodgers, just like the better team didn't win narrative. Yeah, that's what it is. Toronto has this sour grapes thing. Like the better team lost the World Series. He wanted to be a Blue Jay, but chose the Dodgers. Like, how often are you going to keep staying with this narrative, man? It just doesn't fly. It just doesn't fly. Like, it don't make any type of sense. Doesn't make any type of sense. Tom says, Whit Merrifield lied. I'm not. Look, I mean, I don't know the man. I don't know his. This is the first time I've ever heard him talk on like the business of baseball. So I can't sit up here and speak on, you know, how he does things, what he said before in the past. Like I said, I'm not calling him a liar, nor would I. I feel that it's misinformation. Do with that as you will, is essentially what I'm saying. But I'm not calling the man a liar. Dan Inspiration, what's going on, man? Dodgers want you said the SS brothers, Kubel and Skeens. I'm gonna call them baseball splash brothers, and they do. They absolutely do. Drip Show says Canada. Yeah, we got some Canada stuff coming for you guys soon, man. That's gonna be another collection. It's gonna be another collection. Toronto couldn't go over 35 mil. They told Vlad that 36 mil was the max they would pay a player on a long-term deal until age 40. Yeah, but Tucker's younger than that, so they could have, because he that 10-year would have came down before 40. So yeah, I hear you, but I still think if they wanted to get it done, they would have gotten it done. We still love their love Dodgers Center. Dodger Center. Tucker didn't want to play in New Delhi, Canada. Okay, he said, Arctic says, talking about sports for hours like it's serious is just dumb. I mean, coming into a chat of a topic that you think is dumb with a dumb comment, I think is dumber. But that's just me. It's just me. I had to get paid. It's not philosophy. I mean, there are sports philosophies, there are sports psychologists, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that a lot of us happen to love. Plain and simple. They are liars, delusional ones, the worst kind, playing victim. He said, Canada is boring. Tucker want to party with Mookie and Freddie. Does the electric worm. Oh, that's funny. Corey, what's going on? Showtime LA says percentage of a Skubal trade. Okay. You talk about just in general, or you mean like right now? I would say the percentage of, and I don't know if you mean like a percentage of a trade to the Dodgers. So I'll break this down. If you're saying percentage of a Skubal trade at all, 100%. If you're saying percentages of a Skubal trade to the Dodgers, that number was low, then it creeped up, that's kind of stalled. I would say I'm 55-45 that he'll be traded to the Dodgers. Barely. It could swing either way. It could be 55-45 the other way, too. It's like right there. You could average it at 50-50 probably. Joe says 50-50. Yeah, that seems like a legit number. Let's see. An anonymous source in the clubhouse says Tucker doesn't read scouting reports. It was on the phone too much. A lot of sour grapes. All these anonymous sources. Anonymous. Well, here's the thing. You don't think that these major league scouts and vetters and everything didn't dig in? You don't think that these guys who pay these guys multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars don't do their research and find out? You don't think they do? You don't think they talk to agents or talk to players in the locker room that do things and get their due diligence? You don't think so? Not saying you, but I'm saying like the people who put out these stories, especially the Dodgers. You said it's BS and I live in Canada. Oh, Canada. Yep, the Dodgers want to sign him if they felt that. The Dodgers really only got out of pocket one time and signed a guy that they know they probably shouldn't have, and it was right after they lost in 2021 and had a chance to go when they had a chance to win back-to-back World Series, and it didn't happen, and they kind of did something out of their nature, and that was when they signed Trevor Bauer, and I think they made up their mind at that point they will never go against their instincts again, and it's why they didn't heavily pursue Soto. Not so slightly. What's going on? You're exactly right. Toronto was rejected, and that's it. But who cares? They have a good team, but players don't want to play there, and they definitely don't want to play the higher tax rates. Yeah, and they don't want to go there if they have other options. Like Dylan Cease got way more money from the Blue Jays than he would have got from any other team. It's why he went there. Good for him, and good for them for getting a player. But that's just what it is. David says, don't care. Tucker is in LA. Yep. Showtime says, I'm just asking Jeff what he thinks. Yeah, I think if you're asking about the Scooble, I would say 50, like 50-50. But 55-45 is the number I'm really comfortable with. He wanted Tampa Bay, but they don't have the all-star team like LA. What really matters right now is that pitchers and catchers report in less than 3 weeks. Yep. Tucker just didn't want to go to Toronto. Otherwise, he would have signed after visiting their facility. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that he preferred Toronto and then signed with the Dodgers. It just doesn't make any sense. Tucker's agent used reports and other teams to play against each other in order for Tucker to go to the Dodgers. Better team, better weather, better tax. Yep. Facts. For longer term, the Dodgers were third in line. For long term, yeah, the Dodgers were not considering going long term. Wasn't going to happen. So he is part of officially part of Toronto's media now. Yeah, I know his name from when he played, but I don't know his work as a media member. And Cohen signaled that they got smoked too. Yeah, he did. Ellie is next, but how soon? Oh man. He's going to get a bag. I know he turned down that extension that would have made him the biggest deal in Cincinnati Reds history. He's just not a good enough defender at short, man. I will continue to believe that the Dodgers' long-term target for down the road for the second half of Shohei's contract, I just believe it's going to be Bobby Witt Jr. That's just been the thing that I believe the Dodgers have targeted. At some point, Kansas City is going to be like, look, we could get multiple pieces here. We could rebuild, probably have a similar record, have multiple guys for multiple years, spread that money around. I think they'll go after it for a few years with them. They started to spend some money. But my pick for the guy the Dodgers have their eye on for the future is Bobby Witt Jr. That's my pick. Blue Jays were always wanted to be cheap. That's why they signed Okamoto, then dumped Bo Bichette. Yeah, that was the weird part. Is they lost Bo pursuing Tucker, and Bo was still available after Tucker, and they still didn't get him. They still didn't keep him. Bo Bichette is a panic move. Mets fans just refuse to believe it, said David. I like Bo Bichette. And again, I don't know if this New York Mets offseason, I talked to so many people about this. I don't know if the New York Mets offseason is incredible or tragic. It's going to be one or two. It could go either way. It's either going to be a brilliant offseason or a crash and burn offseason. That's what it's going to be. So we're going to have to wait and see how, that plays out. Blue Jays didn't try hard enough. Yep. Bichette was a luxury. Tucker was a need. And that's what always trips me out about people saying the Dodgers didn't need Tucker. They don't need him. Like, are you kidding me? They need a corner outfielder in the worst way, especially for those who have been clamoring for Teo to go back to left, which, I mean, I don't care where he plays at this point. But that's going to happen now. And now you got Tucker and right. So it is Lucky is breakdancing here. adjacent to my studio room here. So like he definitely wasn't needed because our outfield in general output was just, even with Pi is out there with his 27 bombs, just our outfield WAR and WRC plus and everything that matters was bad. And our lineup from like 5 through 9 was bad. 1 through 4, solid. Now 1 through 5, solid. 6, 7, 8, 9, I expect a bounce back. And Tucker was such a big pickup for those reasons. Tucker never wanted to play in New York either. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second either. Not coincidental. Cohen was pissed and embarrassed. Yeah, he got that, lit a fire under him, and he just started spending recklessly. As soon as that happened, he just went ballistic. I'll excuse them of lying liars. I look, I'm not saying anyone is or isn't lying. I'm just not saying they are. I don't know them. I don't know. Like, so I'm not gonna get up here and call another man a liar when I don't know who we got the intel from. I don't know any of that. I'm just challenging it. That's just me. I'm just challenging it. Not calling anyone a liar. I just pushing back. That's all it is. For me, it's not personal. It's just me pushing back on the intel. Much more credited people have said otherwise, and I choose to believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's just what I choose to believe. But I'm calling no one a liar. I just believe it to be misinformation from someone, and I believe that someone has been misinformed. That's just what I believe. Yep. Yep, they were the two best players in free agency. 2 Run says, you're right on. I think so. I think Kike may not sign until we're well into the season. He'll sign as soon as rosters extend. Soon as you can add people to the 60-day IL and get some roster spots, spring training and stuff like that, we'll have Kike back. Pretty much just like last year. Yep. Bottom line, Tucker chose Dodger Blue. Yep. Kike is going to be out a while. Yeah. So Kike, Evan Phillips, I think both those guys will be back. I do think they'll both be back. What's going on, Lewis? He said, what's good, big brother Jeff? Get the likes up, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and tell a friend or a family member about the channel and share the channel. Absolutely. If you guys have not done so, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get back to doing more regular lives. My schedule starting to open up a little bit. So I'm doing a heck of a lot of shorts, a heck of a lot of content in the short format, trying to get back to, the long format and do the live streams on here on YouTube. But I'm also doing them on TikTok. I'm also doing them on IG. So trying to balance it around. Make sure to follow me on all socials, EmpireJeffTV, everywhere. I'm pumping out content everywhere. All right. So make sure to follow me at all of those locations. Appreciate you, Lewis. You think Trinan will bounce back or as Father Time? Look, bullpens are volatile. Trinan had a volatile year last year. It would not surprise me if Trinan returns next year and is very, very serviceable, very, very solid. Wouldn't surprise me. Also wouldn't surprise me if he's done. So we'll have to wait and see. But I need to see it to believe it, and I need to see him believing it. But I have not given up on Trinan, but I need to see it. I definitely need to see it, but I've got doubts. I've surely got doubts. Definitely got doubts. Nas says, just found your channel, liked and stuff. Great stuff. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Like I said, I got started in basketball, kind of just bailed on that because it's just become just not fun and the space isn't fun. And baseball's become so much more fun, just for me, my perspective, for me. And it's just a different vibe, a different cover, a different quality of content. And so I just love this space, and that's just kind of where I've settled in. I from time and time again keep saying I'm going to keep trying to go back to basketball, but I just may have to face the reality that I might not ever do it because I just don't have the desire. I don't have the wants. I don't have the drive to do basketball content. I just don't. And I'm not going to get out here and just do a show to do a show. There's enough of that out there. You don't need me to water down the space and be a half effort show. So there's enough of those. I don't need to do that. So I'm locked in on baseball, and I love that you guys love it. And this is my space for the foreseeable future. I'm very, 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 very comfortable here. So appreciate you for tuning in as always. Got lost here. There we go. Hopefully he can, but yeah, expecting the worst. Yeah, that's my thing. Lewis says, I just went live. Check it out, bro. Anyone else? Yeah, check it out. Make sure to check out. Give my guy Lewis a follow, man. Check it out. Check it out. EmpireJeffTV, you were excited for WWE Royal Rumble next Saturday. I will be the first to tell you, I don't know a single thing about wrestling. Not a thing. I'm one of those guys, you know, most hip hop heads, especially like 90s hip hop heads, love wrestling. I never got into it. It was never my thing. To this day, it's still not. I know a lot of people that love wrestling. It just never caught on with me. Just never did. I don't hate it. I don't got any issue with it. I just don't watch it. Let's see. AJ's Wacker World. What's going on, man? Jeff, where do you think Tuck will hit in the lineup? Dave said between second and third in the lineup, so I would expect second or third. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you as always. Is Lindor being too harsh on defense errors by teammates? Bo being too Bo at third is going to be a concern. We'll see how that goes, but that's going to be. But yeah, I mean, Lindor, he's the captain. He was the captain of that team before Soto got there. That's kind of what led to their issues. And he's definitely the captain of the infield, no matter how you slice it. And yeah, I mean, too many errors is too many errors. They should be held accountable. Amber says, do you think the Dodgers could get Skubal before the trade deadline? I think they can. We'll see if they do. We'll see what negotiations look like at that time and who else is involved. Heard anything on Miller award trade? Jeff, there's honestly a few guys they should trade to free up the logjam, Knack, Banda, etc. So those are kind of the names that was probably going to be involved in a Peralta trade if his market collapsed. The market did not collapse. It picked up. So I would look for the Dodgers to, yes, those names would be kind of tossed around and linked. There are still plenty of other moves out there that could be made by the Dodgers, and there probably will be. Aaron, what's up, brother? Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in as always. Hope to see you at the stadium again this year. Can't wait to get out to these games this year, man. Dang, Jeff, quit basketball. Well, I mean, I don't want to keep saying I'll be back because I feel like I don't want to come off as disingenuine. I can't fake it, man. I can't do it. If I went live on a basketball stream, it would be lifeless. It'd be dead. The content wouldn't be good. And I don't want to cheat you guys. I don't want to waste your time. It just, I have to be inspired. And the game of basketball right now really isn't inspiring me. It's sad. I'm upset about it. It's weird. It's weird. I talk about this every show. It's weird. Like, it's weird that I could literally care less about the NBA right now. It's really weird. I can't remember the last time that happened. That says a lot. I'm an NBA lifer, NBA diehard, an NBA junkie, that I could literally care less right now. The season is half over, and I have no desire to dive in. That's bad. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to fix it. I've tried to watch. I'm going to admit this. Like, I've bought tickets and haven't even gone. Like, that's bad. Like, bad. So it's just not there for me right now. I will never slam the door on it. I mean, look, it's not like I'm some legend that people are waiting to come back. They're sitting back waiting on me. It's not that. I'm just, I don't think that. I'm just, people ask me, so I answer, But maybe I will, maybe something shifts, maybe something changes, something happens, and I get inspired again. But it'll be hard to see it happening this year because baseball's return is right around the corner, and I expect to be locked in on that. But I hope I'm back one day talking basketball. I hope, because that means that the game excites me again, and I would really, really, really love to do it, but in an inspired way. Baseball is more fun for me anyways. Yeah, it is definitely for me right now. What's going on, Sammy? Lindor is still one of the best defensive runs saved rate in MLB, despite the errors. He is. Watch Tucker this year. He's going to go back to being King Tucker. This I believe as well. I absolutely believe. People are forgetting that Tucker was an MVP pace in 2024 before Astros misdiagnosed Cracked shin. Yeah, they said 3 days. It was 3 months. Last year he played with a fracture in his hand for 2 months. Yeah, he's had some bad luck. He's had some bad luck. Some Mookie Betts like bad luck. He really has. He really has. And you're right. Absolutely right. Sorry, I couldn't get the sentence out there. I don't know what happened. I felt that way about the NBA since Kobe's last game. See, that's funny because I never lost love for the game after Kobe's last game. I was in it. I was involved. I mean, I was doing content creation up until 2024. I did some in 2025, but again, it just felt like I was forcing it. Didn't really love doing it. But I still loved it all the way up. Like, this is the first season. I don't think I've done a single. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've done a single Lakers stream. I've done some shorts. Even then, I feel like I had to force myself to do it. I don't think I've done a single live stream of the NBA since the season started. Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I am a Tucker hater day one, but I want him to form in Dodger blue. I hope he does. Obviously. In the Dodger lineup, he could run for MVP. Yeah, he could. Hope they play Freeman and Rojas, Ibanez, and Kim with Edman out. Yeah, I think all these guys are going to get shots. All these guys are going to get chances, and they should. And I'm excited. I'm just really excited to see what this team is from a pitching, fielding, and offensive perspective. Because if everything lines up, this could end up being, like I said, a borderline holy trinity of starters, bullpen, and offense just getting out there and going absolutely ballistic this year. And if that happens, then good luck, MLB. You already have so many people throwing a tantrum about the Dodgers wanting a strike, wanting a lockout, wanting all these things. And the Dodgers, if they go out there to get this three-peat, not only get the three-peat, but in dominating fashion, like no one literally had a shot, like no one gets close. They sweep a bunch of rounds in the playoffs. World Series isn't close. They dominate. Best record in baseball. Everyone stays healthy. You're going to really start to see the tantrums get louder and louder. Baseball ain't got floppers, and basketball flopping killed the interest of basketball for me. For me, it was just lack of competition, lack of defense, nothing but threes. The game has changed a lot, and I'm okay with change. I've never been a problem with change. It just isn't exciting to me. They don't defend, they don't compete. It just I don't know. It's just something is missing for me. Something's missing with all these young guys, prospects they got. It's going to be fun. Hoping I can watch most games. Look, we're going for a three-peat, man. Like, we're going for a three-peat. Even the games where, lesser teams, no matter who we play, it's their World Series. Every game. Every game. Every game is another team's World Series. And that's a privilege. It's a privilege to be the team that other teams circle on their calendar. It's a privilege to be public enemy number one. It's a privilege to have everyone in baseball wanting to beat you. It's a privilege. When basketball made Harden a superstar based on his free throw and elbows, I gave up watching. Gotta go run the dogs. Great finding your channel. When do you usually go live? Hey, appreciate you. I got to take mine after this too. Usually in the evening when I do shows, a couple times a week, usually between 8:30 and 9:30 Pacific time, typically. But I also do a lot of shorts. I do a lot of short form. So I'm dropping content multiple times a day, daily. So you'll see me around on your screen if you subscribe and turn on notifications. That's another thing I always forget to say. Don't just subscribe, turn on those notifications, because then you'll get notified whenever a video drops or I go live. But I appreciate you for being a new subscriber. I thank you. Appreciate it. Hope to see you around. Who is the best Dodger prospect for shortstop and second base? Any good potential to replace Mookie in 2 to 3 years? I never really go down that path because, like, I've seen guys who weren't even the top come up and have long careers, and the top prospects just completely fizzle out. So the answer for me would be, I don't know. I literally don't know. Prospects are more volatile than bullpens. They just are. They just are. Duh, my fault. I'm tired, Joe. I'm tired. My fault. You're right. I definitely should have caught that. 3B coming soon. Absolutely, Drip Show. Freeland and Iman Morales, I'd say. Freeland is the most major league ready one. I just don't know if he's going to be around. Morales, obviously. Hope, obviously. You've got a lot of guys down there that are going to be highly touted, highly, sought after. And that's why the Dodgers are always a threat in the trade market. Appreciate that. But I don't know if any of these guys will be Dodgers by the time they're MLB ready, like to get major run. I don't know if they'll be Dodgers by then, especially if there's a Skubal trade, especially. If there's a Skubal trade, that could take all of our top prospects, and the Dodgers could just reload in a year or two. So if you have a chance to get Skubal or Skeens, you empty the clip. You empty the clip. You got to do it. So I'm not convinced that those guys will be here long term with the Dodgers. Anyways, I'm just not, because they got bigger fish they want to catch. They got bigger fish they're going after. They're going big game hunting, and if you do that, if you go after a Skubal and a Skeens, or both, as crazy as that sounds, if you do that, you absolutely have to give up both of them. You have to give up both of them. Oh, Drip, I see that Vladdy canvas you did, man. That shit is fire. That is fire. Man, that's dope. Oh. Just gotta this. Oh, great. This conversation is probably going to continue on today's topic. It's got a pretty interesting DM. Oh, what's that live from Die Hard? Welcome to the party, pal. Here we go again. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. We got a super chat in the building. We got Dirty Don with the 199 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Said, I've learned to embrace being the evil empire. Oh, for sure. It's great to be the villain sometimes. The villain don't die in this movie. Man. We are the anti-hero. Totally different. We're not the villain. We're the anti-hero. We're the anti-hero. Chris, I'm sensing I think an anti-hero shirt is needed. We're the anti-hero. We're the Tony Sopranos, right? We're the Avon Barksdales. We're the Omar from The Wire, right? We are the Walter Whites. We are the Franklin Saints, Jamie St. Patrick's, Tommy Egan's. We're the anti-heroes. I love that. I love it. Appreciate that super chat, brother. Oh, we're absolutely the evil empire, because we're canceling people's Christmas. That's evil in their eyes. So it doesn't matter if we don't see ourselves as evil. Villains don't see themselves as evil, Joseph. They don't. They think they're the heroes for their people. And that's us. We are the evil empire to everyone else. We are. And I love it. Oh, man. Jackpot, yeah. I don't know if the 90s Bulls were the good guys. Jordan was slapping his teammates, punching his teammates. Rodman was a wild guy. I don't know if those were the good guys. Jealousy is part of life, though. If someone isn't jealous of you or hating on you, then you're not doing something right. Everyone likes you and loves you, and not doing something right. But I'm absolutely embracing the evil empire. And I love being the evil empire, because just being called the evil empire pisses people off. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. I'm here for it. Brand it. I love it. For the 3P was they had shirts that said the good guys. Well, that wasn't even Chicago Bulls thing. That they call the Chicago White Sox, the South Side thing is the good guys. So the White Sox label themselves the good guys. They call them that. That's a Chicago thing. That's not even like, that wasn't particular to that team. That's a Reinsdorf team thing. That's a Chicago thing. That was a thing before the Bulls, actually. Yeah. Like, I'm convinced that Cohen just reacted aggressively and recklessly. And that's why I said the Dodgers legitimately have concerns about the Mets spending recklessly. They do. Not that they're worried about the Mets being better, smarter, that, all players want to go there. No, they're just worried of them overspending like recklessly and causing problems in the market. But, they reacted a little recklessly here, but they didn't have the top offer for Diaz and they didn't have the top offer for Tucker. So, they did kind of back off that a little bit. They did. Said bleep the White Sox. Got more championships than the Padres and Clippers combined, though. The same amount of championships as the Cubs in the last 100 years. I had to admit, I like how they got Bo, made that really that burned Toronto. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that hurts. I think that kind of helps the Dodgers more. Like, I think some of these moves that got made, like Ranger Suarez going to Boston, I think helps the Dodgers. I think Bo Bichette leaving Toronto helps the Dodgers. I think some of these moves that happened actually do benefit the Dodgers more in the long run. When Cohen tried to buy us years ago, he settled for the Mets. Yep. Stephen Cole, like I said, the money doesn't mean championships. Money doesn't mean the best ran organization. Money doesn't mean any of that. And like I even though I have not been covering basketball for a while, those I've talked to privately and know that the stuff that kind of came out recently with this Genie article, I talked about that. And I got people who can back this up. Like, I have people that can back this up. I've got the receipts for this. This has been building for a while. And it's not building on a Genie LeBron thing. This is Genie and her siblings thing. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why I said that Mark Walter and all them, this is why they have not taken full control of the team right now. They're not going to. There's a reason why. So if you buy a location, if you buy a property, if you buy something, and you need to destroy and rebuild, you need to knock it down, you need to do all that, you need to this, that, and the third. You have someone else be part of all the nasty part of that. And then you take over right when it's about to rise and be at its pinnacle, at its peak. That's smart. You don't want any of the sludge, the filth, they don't want that stain on you. So this is exactly what this is, right? And Cohen was one of those guys that can just go in there, and instead of just waiting and tearing down and doing anything, he thought he could just spend his way to excellence and spend his way to winning, and that just isn't going to work. Just isn't going to work. And they're kind of stuck with it now. They're stuck with his path. They're stuck with Soto for forever now. Lakers Dodgers fly. What's going on, brother? Oh yeah, you got it right at the end, man. I'm about to bounce, man. So make sure to rewind back to the beginning, man. This was a fun one. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you and the family are good. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down for the night. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you here with me. I appreciate that. Thank you for listening as I talk to Dodgers and Canada and what I felt to be a misinformed news story today. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Drop a like on the video on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Appreciate all those who have done so already. And enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Y'all have a great Saturday. And maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. But as always, let's go Dodgers. And I'm out of here, guys. Peace.